I want to make a video about what isekai means, like the terminology, what's going on with it. But like I could make a video series about it, but that would like take way so too much time. So really, I want to make an info dump about it, but I just give like all the information just in one place, just this big chunk. But before that, I kind of want to explain why it's so important and like what's really going on, because as a lot of annoying things are happening with this word, right? And really, to most people, just a joke. It's a joke word, and it's really annoying because like there's like so much going on with it, and nobody like everyone just is really kind of belligerent about it. Really, that's the best way to describe it. It's like they love using it, but like they don't care what it means really, and they'll actually people get very defensive when you try to point out to them. Now, the thing with this, right, is that in my last video about hot air terms, I said isekai was a hot air term, right? Now, the thing with that is, I was very much talking in that video about like how people kind of come together and like try to control like the terminology, so it suits them. Really, this also just applies mostly as like from a person-to-person basis, because really a hot air term is just a word that means whatever is convenient to the person using it, just at the time. And they will just like, they don't really know the definition. And that's kind of what they like about it, right? That's kind of like why it's actually very good for it to stay vague, because then you can never really be wrong. That's kind of like the best way to do it, to describe it. But the problem, of course, is that ultimately you don't know what anyone is saying. Because what is the purpose of language is to make yourself understandable, right? And there's this friction where it's like, well, whose job is it to be under, like, is it your job to be as clear as possible, or is it the audience job to like just interpret what you say correctly? And like if you think it's the latter, it's like that's like like people of course are gonna misinterpret you. Like there's really no way to be clear enough. But at the same time, you should still like try. And if you're going to be using hot air terms, at some point it's just your own fault, right? Like, and so one example, of course, is RPG, just complete hot air term. Now, I of course know the definition, the correct definition. This is one of those words where there is a definition that's just good, but I'm also very much aware that no one else will have the same definition. Like everyone has their own definition, whatever is convenient for them, right? So when someone says RPG, you can really never be certain. You have to immediately like think about what do they actually mean, right? So if two people come together and they're like, "Hey, I like RPGs," and another guy's like, "Oh, I also like RPGs. You wanna, you wanna come to my house and play an RPG?" It's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then they get there, and then the guy boots up Mario Kart Double Dash. And it's like, yeah, that's not an RPG. Well, according to your definition, but like the other person's definition could be just a shit. Like, oh, what's that? Is that World of Warcraft? That's not an RPG. You don't do any role playing there. Like, is one guy more correct than the other? Well, whatever the case, there was a miscommunication here. And like, that's just what you have to admit. That there's, as long as it's a hot air term, there can be no like consistent communication. Because you don't know. Like, even if it's like 50% of the population has the same definition, that's still a 50-50 shot most of the time, right? Like, I was at my job, right? And one of my coworkers had like, I don't know, they had like some kid was like over, I don't know, like some 12-year-old. I don't know what he was doing there. But like, they were talking like about video games, what kind of video games he was playing. And the kid like says, like, he was playing like Cuphead, right? And he said it was a roguelike. So instantly, like I have to you have to translate that, right? Because what did the kid really mean? Because this kid scores wrong, but like it's fine. He's like a 12-year-old, whatever, right? But so I'm like, what he probably means is he probably means Souls-like instead, right? Okay, well that's not correct either. So he means it's like Dark Souls, Cuphead, because Cuphead is like Dark Souls because it's difficult, right? That's probably what he meant. Now, and like one of my coworkers actually like pointed out to him, like, oh, you probably mean like Souls, like whatever. Yeah, and the kid was like, okay, very receptive, like not defensive at all. Because, you know, he knows he's probably not correct on like all these terms and stuff, right? But that's just it, right? You immediately have to go into translating it. You cannot take this, get at the word, you know, all these words, you know, there's just constantly new words coming out all the time. It's incredible, right? You know, and when people talk about like, when you're trying to change like genre definitions, people always come like, oh, you know, language is always changing, man. You know, you're criticizing some definition, and it's like, oh, it's always changing. And like, we just have to wait for like a better term than Metroidvania to come along. And it's like, no, like what you're trying to describe in Metroidvania is like flawed as well. You know, a game with like backtracking and like upgrades that you like unlock in like a semi world. That's just not it's not a genre. Those are like mechanics. Like you're like it's the idea is flawed already. You know, like, and like what are you expecting? That one is just gonna fall out the sky? You know, like it's like this very mystical thing. You know, people, oh, it's always changing. And yeah, but a big part of it's always changing is that kids just keep on coming up with new words, you know, like, because like, what does, often it's just like replacements. It's like good, the word good, it's like every generation, it's like, no, I don't want to say good, I want to say bad. Like Michael Jackson, right? Oh, who's bad? Okay, so in the 80s, bad meant good. But then like in, I don't know, the zeros or something, it's like, oh, now it's chill or it's cool. No, it's lit. That was like a few years ago, right? Like lit or swag, YOLO. Remember swag, YOLO? Nobody's using it anymore. But for a hot second they were. And then it changed right back, you know? That is sus. Oh, that's bad. Okay, people are saying gooner now, like all the time, you know? When really, like, do you mean like pervert? You know, you got those YouTube videos that are obviously like clickbait. Where it's like, oh, this guy's a gooner. It's like, am I supposed to take this seriously? Like, oh yeah, this guy, better watch out for this guy. You sound like a clown. Like, I'm not taking you seriously here, dude. Like, like it's a stupid word, and even the definition itself is really dumb. Like, as someone who's just like jerking off all day. Okay. Oh, he jerked off like 10 times. And he didn't come once. Like, okay, that's ridiculous. You know, you may as well just. What is the guy like? He was peeing for hours on end. It's ridiculous. You know, it's like the word cringe, word gaslight. You know, like, oh, it's always changing. You know, but is the word gaslighting? Has the definition changed, or are people just using it wrong? You know, it's stuff like that. You know, did the definition of RPG change, or is Final Fantasy VII just not an RPG? You know, but again, it's just convenience, right? Because it's almost like its definitions are like treated like people get very defensive about it, right? They're almost treated like opinions. Like, it is my opinion that an RPG is a game with just leveling up experience points, and you're not allowed to disagree with that. You're allowed to come up with your own definition, and it's like, oh, let's agree to disagree. You know, it's like, oh, I think any game with where you play as a character is an RPG. Yeah, Super Princess Peach is an RPG. Okay, well, as long as you don't disagree with my definition, oh, cool. All cool. Completely fine. Right? So it's like, but you're not allowed to say, though, is that Final Fantasy VII is not an RPG. Not allowed to say that. You can say it's an RPG, and you can come up with whatever stupid reason for it as well. Oh, they have spiky hair. There is magic. You can, whatever definition, as long as you don't disagree with anyone. And that's it. That's it. Otherwise, everyone has their own definition. Let's all agree to disagree. And it's kind of like this, it's very shows that people really don't care, right? They don't even really care because it's just like, it's just, you know, it's just words, you know, it's just a joke to them, right? They don't really have a horse in this race, you know, because it's not their problem if the word isekai isn't correct, because they don't care what the definition is, as long as they just get to use it and it sound like cool, right? Because it's like, oh man, what president did you vote for? Well, I voted for this one. Well, I voted for the other guy. And even though these guys, and then they're like, oh, let's agree to disagree. Those two guys probably don't really, like, it doesn't impact them, right? It's like, oh yeah, this one is the president of the killing all babies party, and this one's the killing all puppies. Well, I don't have a baby. I don't have a puppy. You know, so it's not it's not our problem. So we're still friends, you know. Like, but if one of them has a baby, the other one has a puppy. Now there's a fight, right? So you need to have a horse in this race, and I have a horse in the race of what the word isekai means, because I know what's going on behind it. I know how it came to be. I know the whole story. How many people know that? Barely anyone, right? And another thing about terms, right, is that even with language, right, like people, no one likes having their language policed. No one. That just happens not with just video game genres. It happens with like with anything. And like it's the way I describe it. It's like a dirty room. It's like everyone has their room, and they all know where everything is, and it's a complete mess. Like I mean, this room I'm in is kind of a mess, a little bit. Not too bad, but like it's kind of a mess. But I kind of know where everything is. Like you can have this mess of a room with clothes there, and like Pokemon cards strewn all along the ground, and with Lego bricks, and like someone gonna step on it. But I know where everything is. So when I get up in the night, I don't even need to turn on the lights. I won't step on the Lego bricks. But my mom was just coming in to bring my new laundry, though. She'll step on it maybe. So like she's like, clean up your room, and you're like, no, I don't want to clean my room. I know what everything is. It's like a whole like mess, like you're using that term wrong. Clean up those Pokemon cards. No, I want them to stay there. So like if you have to clean up your whole room, then like things are like in a different place, and then you have to be like, then it's like this extra cognitive load, right? Because now you're like, oh, I need my Charizard. Let me look on my bed. Oh, it's not there. Oh, that's right. Cleaned up. Where did I put it? Oh, that drawer. Okay, that takes a second. So it's like it's the same thing. Like, oh, what's my favorite Metroidvania? Oh wait, no, Metroidvania is not genre anymore. RPGs? Oh yeah, I know RPGs. Oh wait, no, I don't, because that's not RPG anymore. Is Paper Mario RPG? I don't know. Where did I leave that? It's like this cognitive load, and I think that's also why people don't like when people change their pronouns or something, right? Or like now I have to start referring to this person as with these pronouns. It's like your train of thought is like chuk 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 chuk, and then it's like, oh, hang on a second. No, I gotta go on this rail, and it's like that's a cognitive load, and nobody likes going through that. I don't like it, but it's all like it's about adaptation, because as time goes on, you're like, oh yeah, it's in that drawer. You get used to the new location, and like if you get to decide when it happened, if you get to like change a term or something, then it's like you're making the decision. So it's a lot easier to be like, yeah, no, that's not an RPG. We're gonna say this now. For yourself, that's really easy to like decide, But like even worse, it's like if someone changes it, like like you're out of your room, and then your mom like cleans up your room, and then you're in like, where's all my stuff, right? And then you have to ask mom, where'd you leave my Charizard? Yeah, it's in this drawer it's a nice stack, completely nice. But now every time you have to like ask, like now you have to like ask everyone what their pronouns are. And that's kind of annoying. It is, it is kind of inconvenient, because you used to be, back in the day, with the conservatives, like, oh, it used to be that this was this, and it was kind of straightforward. You just look at someone and then go, okay, but was that the correct way to do it? Well, not anymore. But it was like, now there's like this extra cognitive load. So that's why people are resistant to that. People are very resistant, because language is like this. They just start talking, right? It's this fluent thing that their train of thought just has to go like woof, woof. They're like, it's a high-speed rail. Once the high-speed rail isn't fast anymore, it's like it gets annoying. That's kind of what I think is going on in people's minds, right? So now, one thing though that people really like is when you add something to their room. You can open the door, go like, here, have some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like 52 card pickup. And people are like, oh, new cards. Nice. New garbage everywhere. They love that shit. New terms, they love that shit. Ooh, isekai. New term. Yay. I just learned this new term from Japan. It's from Japan, guys. And that's how, because like, and then they start like, just yapping it around. Like, it's like the one episode in SpongeBob, right? Where they all start using it in their sentences. Where it's like, oh, Krabs is a isekai. Oh, I know. That's one of the sentence enhancers. Oh, that's one of the sentence enhancers, Patrick. Yeah, just sprinkle all about. And you sound cool. Hey, SpongeBob, that's a pretty isekai day today. Yeah, Patrick's such an isekai. Yeah, you mother isekaier. Yeah, Krab's such an isekai. On Squidward too. Yeah, go isekai Squidward's mom. And then I'm Mr. Krabs, right? And I'm like, SpongeBob, Patrick, that is one of the 13 evil words. And it's like, no, you don't like to say that anymore. And then SpongeBob, Patrick are like, oh no, We can't say it anymore. And then they suddenly say it, right? Because it's almost like, again, it's kind of like a slur. That's almost kind of like that. But it's like, if you're not allowed to use a slur anymore, then every time, if you're used to it, you might just blurt it out. You're playing eels and escalators. And suddenly you just blurt it out. You said number 11. This is kind of how people's brains work, right? So yeah, it's kind of like that. So what I'm going to show you now is some examples of people using this in some posts. I got 3 posts for you. 2 of them being Tumblr posts. Yeah, okay. But first off, I want you to define your own definition of the word isekai and be specific about this, because it doesn't matter what it is in this moment, but you have to stick to it, right? So like, I don't know, maybe like write down in the comments, and then, well, one thing is compare it to other people, because the thing about this, right, is nobody agrees on this definition. So you may say, oh, you may disagree with me on this, sure, but don't get this twisted. You don't agree with anyone else either. Maybe there's there's groups of people who agree with each other, but really no one agrees on what this word means. Yet, if you say you have it wrong, it's very defensive. Because you're allowed to disagree with each other, but not... everyone's allowed to have their own definition, but you're not allowed to say someone is wrong, right? So that's going to be very clear. Is none of these people agree with each other. But if you criticize them, they'll get very defensive. So you keep your definition, like in the comments or something, and be very specific about it. Now, in general, there's pretty much 2 definitions of this genre, because that's the thing, right? Like, the word isekai just means it's just Japanese for another world. That's just what it literally means. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the only definition. It is just a Japanese word. There's no reason to use it in English at all, because you can just say another world. But people have come up with this idea that it's a genre because of stupid reasons. I'm gonna make a whole video about this. But generally, there are 2 definitions of this genre. The first one is just an isekai is any story where someone goes to another world. Which is just like, it's just the funniest thing, right? Because it's like, someone literally just took the definition of the word, and then that's the definition of the genre. It's like, what's a horror movie? It's a movie that's horrifying. Okay. What's a romance movie? A movie that is romantic. Okay. What's a western? A movie that takes place in the West. The West of what? Of America? Yeah. Okay, what about Star Trek? Isn't that like a western? Well, is that in the West of space? That's just where it breaks down, right? And like, of course, that's not how the word came to be. But again, if people don't know the history, they're just like, oh, let me look in the dictionary. Let me look up at Google. What does the word isekai mean? Oh, it means another world? Well, then it has to be the definition of the genre as well. This is one of those things where it's like, oh, like, what even, whatever. But for this exercise, if that's your definition, okay, good, stick to it. You have to stick to it. Not like, oh, well, sometimes this, sometimes that. No, you have to stick to it. So according to you, Alice in Wonderland is an isekai. Okay? According to you, Sword Art Online is an isekai. Okay? Peter Pan, isekai. Kingdom Hearts, isekai. Sure. Forspoken, isekai, sure. Stick to that definition. Stick to it. Now, the second definition is like, actually, I came up with the idea of calling things like roguelike and souls-like, like similes. That seems like a good word, right? Because it's like, oh, this game is like this. Oh, it's a simile. That's kind of a good way of like just having a little word for them. Okay, so the next one is like the simile version, where this definition is like people actually looked at the anime that are called isekai and then like compared them, right? Like very advanced, right? Which is pretty much like, this is like what I call Sword Art Online likes. I'm just gonna call them that, right? Where it's like, okay, so you got this character, and then they die, and they get reincarnated as like a penis, and then they need to stick themselves inside like 100 elf girls, and then they'll get superpowers and cheats, and they get the slimes are everywhere, and then there's like leveling up, those kind of stories have those kind of things. So an isekai needs to have those things happening in them generally. Okay, that's like a simile, right? It's like, oh, Dark Souls, Souls-likes have dodge rolling, SS Flask, dropping experience points when you die. Okay, whatever. right? Okay, so those are pretty much your two general definitions. You got the simile, and you just have to translate the definition of the words. Okay, stick to those, or come up with your own definition. Whatever. For this exercise, just stick to it. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the first example, which is okay. So this post I actually found on Tumblr, and I actually commented on it. I didn't reblock it, which I really should have, because I tried to look it up, but the creator has deleted their account. Yeah. Okay. So luckily I have a really good memory, but I did actually argue with some people in the comments though. Although the OP did not argue with me, it was very cool. The OP was very cool. The people, other people, white knighted for them. They came to their defense. But the thing is, also, I do like the post in theory. So here's what the post was. Basically, it was a joke. Where it's I got hit by a car, and I got isekai to another world that was exactly the same as my world, but my bones were broken. Which is I like the joke. I do. I like the idea of the joke. If I did not hate the shit going around about this whole isekai thing, I would like this joke. I think it's clever. But this is one of those moments where I should criticize the use of this word. I know I'm gonna get flack for it. I need to do it because I need to create friction. This is one of those things where you just have to be kind of strategic about it. People need to they need to get some kind of friction from it, so that the next time they think of using this word, they're maybe I shouldn't, Maybe I should because people are very defensive, but it does kind of stick in their heads. Because I'm also kind of like that, but I act defensive when I get criticism, but I do remember it and I do incorporate it into what I do. I do. I really do. Like defensive, whatever. So basically what I say is, because looking at this sentence, right, what is the word isekai even doing here? Because if you were to replace this word, isekai, in the sentence with another word, well, can't you just say, I got hit by a car and traveled to another world? Where it was the same world but my bones are broken? Is the joke lost on anyone? No. If you know what is going on with these kinds of stories, you get the joke. If you don't know, then you just don't get the joke. You don't need the word isekai in it to understand anything about it. It's not required at all. Right? So, in this sentence, the word isekai means travel to. Okay, why does it say, why couldn't it have been travel to an isekai? Right, because that's kind of what I was like. And so again, I can't look up the comments, because it's the one thing that Tumblr doesn't let you look back on or whatever, I don't know. But people got defensive about it. And so arguing with me. And none of them gave the same arguments. They all disagree with each other, but they were not, I was being the asshole, right? So they're all trying to argue with me. Although some of those people, it's really very funny, right? Because there's two kinds of arguing. One of them is just people just say, oh, you're just a bit pedantic asshole. And I kind of like that because it's honest, right? Because I was being a pedantic asshole. I think it's necessary. But it's kind of true. I am kind of ruining the fun or whatever, I think that's valuable because I have a horse in this race, But what other people try to do is they try to argue that I was wrong, which I'm not, But people understand that simply calling someone an asshole isn't an argument, right? So then they try to argue, but they don't have good arguments. Because one guy, he was oh yeah, it's a borrowed word, and isekai is a borrowed word, which is not. It's not a loan word. Come on, dude. But it's oh, I know what loan words are. That'll get him. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into this why it's not a loan word. It's just oh, I came up with this idea. This is the one thing I got. It's I'll throw. I don't have a gun, but I'll throw bullets at you. I'll throw rocks. That's kind of what it is. But there was actually a back and forth between this one guy, right, and me, because I was trying to explain myself, why can't you say traveled? And this guy was it's the definition. He asked me, what would you say the definition of isekai should be? And I say, basically, isekai just means another world. That's just it. you can if you can just use the word traveled in this sentence. But he's like, here's the thing, right? He wasn't talking about the word isekai. He was talking about the genre, and I wasn't even like aware that that's what how he was saying it. So because I'm like, I'm not even thinking about genres. I'm just looking at his sentence like, you replace the word traveled with isekai. That's how I'm looking at it. But no, apparently they're talking about genre. So right here, this kind of proves my point, right? There was a miscommunication here. We were not talking about the same thing. That's why there's an argument here. That is the only that. So you can say, oh no, they were correct. No, this post is not correct. They were using the word isekai absolutely wrong. Whatever that is, they have their own opinion. No, I think this is the correct way, but nobody else agrees. They were using it objectively wrong. I was correct in this. There is a miscommunication here. Nobody understands what's going on here. This word, it was just being abused. It was just in the wrong place. But like nobody cared about it, right? Because what I realized is like isekai, it's kind of like if you were to say, I got Groundhog Day. What does that mean? Well, it means I got stuck in a time loop where I had to relive the same day over and over. What happens in Groundhog Day? That's what happened. So to say you got isekai, I got isekai to another world, what it means is, what happens in isekai? Well, people get sent to another world or something. That's what it means. Well, okay, in this movie they travel to another world, so to say you got isekai means you travel to... It doesn't really make any sense, right? And also, if that's the case, then why did it say isekai to another world? Why doesn't it just say, I got isekai? I don't know, I guess because, well, then the sentence is like, I got hit by a car and got isekai. My bones were, no, to another world. No, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't, the sentence doesn't flow like that. But like, of course, there are no isekais where someone's bones get broken. So like, there's all these qualifiers about it. So why, at this point, if you say, I got isekai, what does that mean? I don't know. You have to be specific. Did you get sent to another world? Did you get reincarnated into another world? Did you die? Did you not die? Did God appear and give you a wish? Did you could turn it into something, an object? Did you just become yourself? Were there experience points, levels? You don't know, because it can be anything. So like at that point, just be specific. Just speak English to me, buddy. You got, like if I were to say, oh man, I got Groundhog Day, and oh man, I'm like, oh, you got caught in time loop? No, I just woke up and then I smashed my... Oh man, I smashed my alarm. Okay, well that happens in that movie, but you're being unspecific. I'm just supposed to know what you're saying? Okay, so let's just move on from this one. Because you may say, oh, you're being pedantic again, but like, once I look at these other two posts, you're going to see that this is not on. This is not cool. What's going on here? Okay, so let's going on with the next one. Let me look at my picture, because I got pictures, yeah. So this is a Tumblr post that I found on Imgur, but it has a Reddit watermark on it. So we're going 3 layers deep on this. And these are actually some Tumblr posters I've seen before, right? So we got Cognito Hazardous, if that's still their name, and they say, I want an isekai anime where the guy dies and just goes to hell. Which, again, the joke is clear, right? And, I've actually, if you're going to say this, this is actually one of those jokes where you could go like, oh, what's that? You like isekai? Well, how about you get isekai to fucking hell. Yeah. That's actually a good comeback. That's a good one, because you're like making fun of them. But at this one, it's like, what is it? What are they even talking about? Because let's just keep going here, right? Then there's a picture of like one of the comments, and it's Gorps saying, which has like a nice icon of like a snail that looks like a mandarin that's in the shape of a snail or something. That's kind of cute. But they say would take like 20 minutes to rewrite the beginning of Inferno to do this. Dante's Inferno, I think they're talking about. And then Cognito Hazardous says, in this one, Dante gets run over by a horse-drawn cart. And then like cryptotheism says like, oh, in the middle of the journey of our life, I came to myself. And it's like the title of this presumed isekai anime they would accept. And it's a really lame joke. Like, that just sucks, dude. We're just ignoring that last part. But like, what are they even talking about? I want an isekai anime where the guy dies and just goes to hell. Isn't that what Christians already believe? Like, according to the Christian faith, right? When you die, you go to either heaven or hell. So let's say you're a bad, you're gay, right? And they're like, oh, you're going to hell. Okay, am I being isekai to hell? What does that mean to be isekai in this context? Does it mean dying? Well, you're being transported to another world, right? Or it's like, but again, like, if you're part of the first group I established, and you believe that any kind of traveling to another world is an isekai, then going to hell is getting isekai'd. It already is. So what would an isekai anime be? Where a guy goes to hell after dying? Well, that would be any story where a guy dies and go to hell. Like this has happened on The Simpsons. It has happened to Eek the Cat when he went to hell. Right? You Crash Bandicoot. Oh, wow! And he turns into an angel. Does he get isekai'd to... What happens to Mario when he dies? Does he get isekai'd back to level 1? Oh, you have a 1-up? Oh, get isekai. Like, on the freaking Wikipedia website, Wikipedia of isekai, people will say, oh yeah, the Super Mario Brothers movie, like the first one, the first 2D animated one. Oh, that's an isekai, because they go through the warp pipe and then go to Mushroom Kingdom. They get isekai'd. Wow! They go through the warp pipe. Going through the warp pipe apparently means getting isekai'd. Going through a rabbit hole. Oh look, Dorothy, the tornado, whee, she got isekai'd. To Oz, okay. You believe that, fine, stick to that. In that case, going to hell also means getting isekai then. Are we being consistent here? But then, like the second post, in this one Dante gets run over by a horse-drawn cart. Why is that important? Because yes, that does happen in isekai, in those kind of stories, but not all the time. Sometimes they just get a wish. Sometimes they just go through a portal. They don't all die. But like, so what are you talking about? So does getting isekai'd now mean getting hit by a car? Because in the first post, it got hit by a car and then isekai'd. So it got isekai'd and then got isekai'd to another world, to an isekai? What are we talking about here? And what do you mean rewriting the beginning of Inferno? Like what? What would there need to be rewritten? And even if there would something need to be rewritten, why would that take 20 minutes? Oh, he got hit by a car? Why? I don't know. I don't know about the story. Like, I've never read it or anything. But like, no matter how he gets there, whether it's dying or he pays the ferryman like to get across the Dead Sea or whatever, or Hades summons him, or the devil just appears. Yeah. You made the deal and now you're going to hell. Okay, whatever the case, even if he just walks through a door, what does that matter? No, now he needs to get hit by a car. That's the only way to be isekai'd. Okay, like I even while doing research from like one of those stupid like Game Rant like articles, like those freaking slop generators where they just pay people like nothing, gig economy shit, and then they write this article about isekai, and it was like the 10 weirdest kinds of isekai where a guy got, it's like it started out like, oh, we all know about those times when people get hit by cars, but here are the wackiest ones. And yeah, I guess there's wacky ones. Like there's a one where a guy gets hit, killed by a vending machine, and then reincarnates as a vending machine. Whoa, wacky. But like that, who cares? Like one of them, like a bookshelf falls on them. What's the idea here? Well, the idea is nothing. What is an isekai? According to this context of this post, it means getting hit by a car, and then getting sent to hell. Or yeah, I guess. So, full of shit. Completely different from the first person. These people disagree with each other. But they're all just laughing because they don't care. Just laugh at the joke. I'm just making a joke. I don't know what I'm saying. What if there's an isekai anime? Okay. But then, okay, so now the final one. The third post. And this one where things go absolutely off the rails. So I found this one on Imgur as well. Because, finding memes is like... Meme Center's gone, Dorkly is gone, College Humor is gone, so Imgur is like one of the last places to get good memes, and people post like meme dumps of like 50 memes, and when they do that, so here's one of those memes I came across, right? So the meme itself is completely fine, because what it says is, it's a news headline that goes, a self-driving freight truck just drove across the country to deliver butter. Okay, and then below it is the Rick and Morty meme, like just a picture of the little robot that passes butter that's like, what's my purpose? You pass butter. Oh my god. Okay, funny. I understand. Good joke. It's the AI passes butter across the country. Okay, but what these people do is they sometimes add comments, right? So at the end they'll be like, "Oh, look at my little puppy text. Here's a picture of my puppy." Okay, in this case though, the person who made this meme dump added a comment, which went like this: "Imagine getting isekai'd by the self-driving butter truck." Huh? Beg your pardon? Beg your pardon? What? Isekai by the self-driving butter truck. Okay, what's the joke here? Let's just start with that. What's the joke? This is shorthand, right? This is a shortened sentence because the full sentence is: imagine getting isekai by the self-driving butter truck. Wouldn't that be embarrassing, right? Like that's kind of like the whole sentence, but the last part's cut off. That's kind of presumed. Okay, and yeah, if you die because a self-driving truck who only delivers butter kills you, like drives over you and kills you, then that would be embarrassing because that would be on your gravestone, or you just be in the hospital because getting hit by a car. Do you have to die? It's kind of like but either way, it's like, oh, this guy, he died because of a fucking butter truck. That's awkward. That's embarrassing. Is that what this person means though? Because if we take this at face value, they just replaced the words getting hit by, or getting run over by, or getting killed by with isekai. So to get isekai in this sentence, as it appears, means getting killed. Okay? So we've gone from getting isekai means traveled to getting hit by a car and then traveling to just straight up getting killed. This is just a corruption. Like, what are we talking about? But maybe they don't. Maybe they do mean, imagine getting killed by a truck, then getting sent to another world, reincarnating as a stick of butter. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? Maybe that's the joke. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe, here's an idea, these people should just be specific and use English words. Wouldn't that be nice if they were just specific and stopped using these stupid fucking words and sound like fucking assholes? Wouldn't that be useful? Getting isekai'd by the self-driving butter truck. What are you doing? And this seems like a minor point, right? But this is just a conclusion, right? Because if you thought that an isekai is just traveling to another world, these people disagree apparently. They're not using it the same. So how is this not a hot air term? How is this not like a communication problem at this point? Because what if we just combine the sentences now, right? I got isekai'd by a car and then got isekai'd to an isekai. Why don't I just say that? Why don't I just start replacing words in my sentences with isekai? Apparently it doesn't matter. Again, it's like SpongeBob. That's what these people are. Those SpongeBob and Patrick. They're just these two idiots who go to a dumpster, see a new word, and then just start saying it, man. Well, I just heard this new word. Isekai, it's like this new genre. It's a new genre from Japan. It's very fancy. It's so cool. I'm so cultured. And nice isekai day, SpongeBob. Yeah, but it's an isekai day. I just got isekai by a car. Whoa, man, I could just isekai to another world, man. So it's like, and then you're like, so this is what I realized ultimately. This is what I realized. Isekai basically has the same definition now as the word smurf. Yeah, because smurf is a hot air term. It is a word that means whatever. Just look at the context. Gargamel just smurfed the Smurfs. Oh no, did Gargamel just fuck the Smurfs? No, he kidnapped them. Oh, okay. Oh, it's Papa Smurf. Papa Smurf. Gargamel as Smurf baby Smurf. Oh well, class of Smurf, guys, we gotta go Smurf to Gargamel's castle and Smurf baby Smurf. But that's what it is. It's the Smurfification of words. Now the thing is, Smurf can kind of replace any word. Isekai, as long as it's in its sphere, right? Because again, it's like the simile, right? Anything that happens in these sorts of stories, you can replace the word in your sentence with isekai. So it is limited in that. So you can replace getting run over by a car with isekai, because that's what happens. You can replace traveling to another world with isekai. It's like Oh man, that guy is Dark Soulsing over there. He's Dark Soulsing over there? Yeah, he's Dutch rolling. Oh, okay. And that guy's also Dark Soulsing. He's not Dutch rolling. No, he's drinking out of his flask. Like, yeah, that guy's getting Dark Soulsed. What does that mean? Oh man, there's like a knight and he's got a big hammer and bam, he smooshed him. Oh, okay, I understand now. Dark Soulsing, what getting Dark Souls means, anything that happens in Dark Souls is happening to you. Okay, could you just be specific and say he's Dutch rolling? This is, so what if I were just to start talking like this? I would start smurfing like this, and so if you can smurf me, that's not my smurf. How about you go smurf yourself, right? I'm sorry that I'm not smurfing myself smurfable to you, but it's not my smurf to smurf you. Would that be annoying? Or what if I just said isekai everywhere? Oh man, that guy got isekai. Did you see the isekai yesterday? When the isekai guy got isekai? Would people be annoyed by that? I think they would. I think they would find it very annoying. But that's like how these people are already talking, just in a more minor sense, They are already talking out of their ass. It just doesn't bother them because they're not being confused. They think they know what they're saying, and they think they all understand each other, but they don't. And once push comes to shove, that's exactly what it will come down to. If there was if there was like a life-threatening situation where that was important, which there won't be, and at this point, like, people have stopped kind of saying isekai, but that's what would be the problem, and then it would be too late, right? And like getting people to admit to talking shit is like impossible, right? Like me putting all these 3 posts on the row kind of really shows you how like it's corrupting, how none of these people agree with each other, but in a vacuum, those people in that first post really got mad at me, really mad. So I guess, like, let me get to a bit of conclusion here. Let me see, what did I write down here? That's wrong, here we go. What did I write down? I guess as a conclusion, I think that was kind of my conclusion, this whole Smurf thing. Oh yeah, this was something like, I smurfed your mom yesterday. Yeah, what's that? You think no, I didn't say I fucked your mom. I hugged your mom. Yeah, I was saying hello to her. Yeah, what's that? You misunderstood me? Well, that's not my problem. It's not my problem to make myself understandable to you. No, see, language is always changing. And so really, if you think about it, it's your fault that I'm not interested in the definition of words and just saying whatever comes to mind. Right? So, I guess that's kind of it. Yeah, I got kind of mad in this one. Yeah, but it's very, very close to the mark. Because I have a horse in this race, man. I have a horse in this race. You don't. You don't understand. You don't understand about this. We got all, people are like, instead you're just supposed to like isekai. That's really the narrative going on. This is what I kind of talked about in my Hot Air Terms video, where it's really convenient for people to go, yeah, Alice in Wonderland is an isekai, so you're not allowed to hate it. It's from Japan. It's a different culture, so you have to like it. And that causes people to just go, oh, I'm going to use this word too, because then I'll be cool. I won't know anything about it, and I don't care. But what matters is the social credit points I get for it. It's that everyone likes me. And that's kind of like the propaganda behind it. Where if you can just push something into the mainstream, nobody needs to understand it. They just need to like get in line. And, well, actually the final thing, what I really want to say as a final thing is, remember what I said about like throwing Yu-Gi-Oh cards into someone's room? Like, here you go. That's basically like telling someone, like trying to redefine words is extremely difficult because you're changing stuff in people's room. So instead, just create new terms. So, but then you also have to keep using them. That's one thing, right? Like people are like, oh, I invented this new word. Well, if you don't use it, then it's not a real word, really. So that's why creating new words like risk assessment, anime skinnerbox, narrative exploration, solvability game or something, but that's not really a new word, but okay. Stuff like that. Just hot air term. Create new terms, and then when people need to Google that, your video will be the only one people find, right? Because otherwise, to find all these Wikipedia pages, because this is really what happened to Isekai. So in short, basically, at all these anime, they were all the same, coming out at the same time, and many of them had the word Isekai in the title because they had titles like, oh man, I got turned into slime in this other world. I got sent to this other world by God. And so they just had the word another world in the title, and then people were like, oh, what do we call these anime that are kind of the same? These similes. Should we call them, I don't know, Sword Art Online likes? No, because like the connection is kind of like, there's a whole story behind that. So they didn't really have one singular like anime to name it after, right? Because like, what if Dark Souls didn't exist, but you had all these games that were like Dark Souls, like a game that didn't exist? Do you call them Lies of P likes? What is the game we like form them around? Well, if you don't have that one game, that's the first one. If you don't have Doom, you can't call them Doom clones. So they were like, oh, they all have the word isekai in them or something, or many of them do. Let's just call them isekai. That's how that came to be. So like that, some dickhole just came up with that word, and now I have to act like it's a good word. Like I wasn't part of that meeting, and everyone just accepted. Doing research, trying to understand stuff. I immediately was like, I need to understand what's going on here. Other people just like, oh, we're just throwing some shit, and everyone just accepted it. They're just, you got Wikipedia pages. Oh yeah, it's a genre, and why? Because they just said things first. So just throwing a term at someone, and then your source is the first one. That is like the ultimate power. It really is. So if someone's like, oh, I need to redefine hot air terms, no, they can't, because I said it first and I came up with it. Come on, dude, get out of here. Enemy skin box, I came up with that. Risk assessment, came up with that too. Yeah. So next video will be the Sword Art Online likes video, where I explain what Sword Art Online likes are, because I'm not calling them isekai anymore. I will have to put it in the title, of course, so people know what I'm talking about. But like, yeah, okay. So whatever. See you next time, Mother Smurfers.